Okay, the next step is using bulk edit to make sure that all of your assignment due dates fall into the term that you want the grade to count towards, and that you don't accidentally have anything unpublished that you want to be published. So bulk edit is a tool that we talked about last semester, but you may or may not be familiar with. It's hidden away in the gradebook and has a lot of information. So first of all, we want to just make sure that all assignments are associated with the T2 term that you want to have counted towards the grade. They don't technically have to have a due date within there, but they do have to be associated with that term. We recommend, however, they do have a due date so that it shows up on students' to-do list and you can have them ordered in your gradebook, but it's not essential. So how do I get to the bulk edit tool? If I go to my gradebook and I click on the three dots, it's over here. Bulk edit shows you everything in your gradebook, so any terms that your course is associated with. So I have all of my first semester terms. You'll notice this is actually how I turned off a bunch of assignments. They show up as unpublished. They don't have a green dot. So if I scroll down, I will eventually get to term 2. And you can see that there are a number of things here. It has the name of the assignment, what category it falls in, how many points were assigned to it, and what the factor is. The factor is a multiplying, so say this was 2 points and the factor is 1, that means it's actually worth 2 points. We've had teachers accidentally change the factor to either less or more than 1 and couldn't figure out why their grade books weren't calculating right. So always double check that this factor is set to 1 and so that your points are actually what they look like. Then you want to check that the due date and term are part of term 2. Notice here this assignment is unpublished. What that means is none of the students' scores are showing up in the gradebook, and that's a mistake for me. So I want to make sure that I click the green button to turn it on, and I will go through and scroll through all of these. You'll see here this Google Drive assignment didn't have a due date, but it does have a term associated with it, so it will be counted. Again, best practice is to have a due date, but it doesn't have to as long as the term is associated with that gradebook. Since I've made changes, I always want to make sure at the bottom of the page I click Save Changes. And depending on how many assignments you have, you may have a lot of pages to look at, so I'm going to go ahead and check page 2. Make sure there are no other assignments listed on that page. And again, you may find that T1 shows up at the top and then T2 shows farther down. But this looks like all T1 grades. So why it sorts that way, I don't know, but just make sure that you double check that all of that's there. So once you've verified that everything is published, they're associated with the proper term, you don't have any that have no grading period or unpublished, you're good to go. Click Save Changes and move on to the next step.